What up, what up? What's good? Give me a second. I gotta add these groups in. Today we're gonna have a crazy conversation. I think this might be one of the best topics, man. Shout out to Respect Royalty. Listen, I've been getting a lot of inboxes today from a lot of people like who've been asking me, have I seen the talk about Lisa Rand, that lady talking about how all black men fell in black women. And see, since they know that I be, a lot of people who be on my page, they used to me having conversations, and I love to touch on the sensitive topics that a lot of people don't like to touch on, right? And I'm gonna play the video, which is this. I'm gonna play this video for y'all, and I'm gonna go back and forth so y'all can see me as well. But I think it's a great conversation to have because the only thing I've been hearing is about this video. So I wanted to chop it up with everybody and see how everybody felt. And so we're gonna go through this video, and as it's playing, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna stop, and then I'll give you my commentation on this situation. You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
Claudia, you was getting ready to say, is it the woman's fault?
Or the man's fault.
Or the men's fault, which is a very good point. I think it's cyclic. I have to blame it first. No shade, men, but it's y'all fault first. Because if you go all the way back, we didn't create this. We didn't create the misogynistic ideology of having to use our bodies to get stuff. We didn't create that. You all created that. We actually couldn't even vote. We couldn't even talk. We was tied up in clothes from our neck all the way to the floor.
True.
It was the way that they treated us, the way that men have put us in a predicament where we have had to utilize our assets to get things, that has made this, that has perpetuated this mindset. And so now it has spawned in all these different forms. Yes. And now it's just a fool everywhere. Now,
all right, so my first thing, when I first seen this video and everybody was asking me about it, the first thing, because I only watched probably like the first 30 seconds. Now, she said that she would blame the men. Now, this is going to be a respectful conversation, and I'm not going to be too extra at all, but I'm going to be honest in how I feel, like from a man's perspective, we're open-minded though. Now, she said that she would blame the man first because a woman had to use her body and how historically the way we portrayed it. Now, what she's saying as far as what happened later, I agree. But if your history, if you're going to start like where she started her reference from was from like slavery and no further back. So I could tell that she has no historic record technically of history before that, or she's not really touching on it. But at the same time, I also see that, what about accountability? Yes, men have did this, but what about during the plantation time? At times, a black woman used her body to manipulate the slave master. You know what I'm saying? Now let's go back before that. One of the Ethiopian queens, she had what her name? The Caesars. They were gay men, and she had seduced the whole empire. So sex was being used as a weapon, not just from the aspect of a man making you in the aspect of that, but that's one of the things that make a woman fierce. If you understand the science of a black woman and you understand that scientifically, they say it's only two creatures, respectfully, but that's how they say it, on the planet that have the strongest pheromones. It's the black widow spider and the black woman, right? So when I heard her say this first part, which I'm gonna get back to the video, I'm not trying to slay her. I'm just saying that, what about the accountability? Like nobody makes you use your body to get something. That's a choice. Even though I guess if she's saying like that women feel like that's the only way they can get something. You get what I'm saying?
Can we stop it? Yeah, because you have women like, you have women on the call, all these women on the call right here that don't do that and know that they don't need to do that. But then our mothers, some of our mothers are not, and I have to blame mothers a little bit because our mothers are harder on the women and they treat the boys like they baby fatter boys.
Can I say this, Selena?
I agree. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be always just saying, oh, I don't agree and chopping them, so I'm making this clear. If I agree and it's a logical point, I will make it clear because it's not just about me saying, oh, they wrong or picking. This is a real social conversation that need to be had since all of us saying home. I agree. When I was growing up, the girls are putting more pressure on. They got to clean the house and do all of that. Where they tell the boys get out. I say it all the time. So yeah, a lot of the pressure is what she's saying. I agree.
I used to say this all the time, that I believe that a lot of women, they raise their daughters, but they love their
Yes.
They what?
And so,
What
and they not,
I said they raise their daughters, but they love their
Yes.
sons.
And so when girls, young girls do not have, we don't have the, like for me, like, and I know I have friends that are daddy's girls, and I have such an admiration of that. Like I have an admiration for that, because I have a whole father who was a whole singer, and everything I got from him mostly. And I have absolutely no relationship with him. And my mother raised all of us, because it's all girls, real tough. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we're not, sometimes, and in my relationships with men, because this is my second husband, you know, but in the relationships with men, yeah, I'm trying to be Elizabeth Taylor R&B, but in relationships with men, I have been unable at times to be soft. And in the business, we were taught by our moms, be hard, take it, be strong, don't let them see you cry. You know, that they have taken our God-given actual right to be feminine, to be soft, to be ladies, to be women. We have to kind of buck up all the time to get people to take us seriously. And some of that has bled into my relationship. So then
Now let me pause here, because I think it was another good point. Now, I agree, and I agree in a lot of ways, but I think that part of this goes back to us understanding our history and also understanding nature, more important, nature. See, the more that we start to understand nature, and not speaking from a dope way, the more that we understand nature, the more that there's a problem between a black woman and her daughter in society. I grew up in this, you know what I'm saying? And I don't care what household it is. Some black women and their daughters have good relationships, and some of them don't, because of this pressure and how they feel about how they're being treated. But it goes back to the structure. Everything in life has order, right? So the reason why mom loves the boys is because that's the natural order. The mama's boy and father's girl, you know what I'm saying? The mom naturally is going to cater to the boys, because just like that man, she going to treat her son like, she going to treat her son like her man to some extent. Not in the sexual aspects, but how she treat him, you know what I'm saying, in that nature. He a boy, he a protector for what she is going to raise him that way. But the reason why she's getting that extra love from him is because it's not just because he's a little boy, but a lot of times that boy is not challenging his mother for that feminine energy in that household. And that's the dead truth. It's not always that the mother is just always showing the boys love. Like, the boys are not really challenging their moms to the same extent. Like, we challenge our mothers, but a lot of times we kind of submit to our mothers. But our fathers, we got the same issue if y'all really pay attention. But see, in the communities that we raised in the last, 50 years or last 100 years after slavery, a lot of our fathers, in reality, I say the last 50, because the black family separated like in the 50s, 60s, this is the problem. With boys, if you got a father and you grew up in your household, you know what I'm saying, then your mom was your outlet. Like, when we can't talk to our father, because when he get on his masculine shit, especially when we like 14, 15, 16, 17, even if we respect him, it's kind of like, man, whatever, because he gonna go about it in a way that a man gonna go about it, which is more like dominating. And the two physical beings, they gonna clash. That's naturally, even the son. Because just because he's your son don't mean he's scared of you, and it don't mean he got to be disrespectful, but they gonna clash because they both fighting for male energy in the house. You know what I'm saying? Masculinity. Now with the girls, they feeling like they not being right, but if the household and our communities is unstructured, then our mother is doing a lopsided job, so that she has to do both people's job, and she's in the little bit of natural nature she can hold on to with her son is being misinterpreted, because a lot of times, be real, females are fighting with their moms, and the females feel like, you know, once they start producing body parts and start, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like they feel like they're more woman. But that go back to nature. That's why they used to let girls leave in our culture at 12. They was raised a little different because of that.
When that happened to the man, now he like, oh, she acted like a diva and a bitch. And then he'll go and cheat on her or beat her to try to diminish her so that he can have some control. So I feel like it's cyclic. But I do feel like the men kind of kicked shit off, and then the mothers didn't do good with trying to, we didn't fight for our rights early enough. You know what I'm saying? So
like
it's
the
just
point that you made about that. I feel like black women have never really had the luxury to be feminine.
Hold on, let me pause. Hey, so Amir Bey, it says, when we talk about that, because when you say that at the bottom, mothers have a big jealousy, you know what I'm saying? Remember when they said a little earlier, and this real quick, when she said that the mothers tell the women to be hard and like, don't let nobody play you, That shit is poison. And people, some people think I'm harsh, but in reality, one day people gonna understand what I'm saying is just the honest truth. It's poison. When you tell your daughters to be hard, don't show no emotion, they will cheat themselves out of a relationship because the whole time their mama told them not to show their emotion, but a good man is looking for that fucking emotion in order to connect with you. If you gonna be hard the whole time, the reason why your mama hard, cause she by herself. So she gonna be hard cause she lonely. She ain't compromising with no nigga. She ain't gotta share nothing. So you watch your mother do everything by herself. Deep down inside, she don't want to be by herself, and she didn't want to be by herself.
To be because a lot of us, Lisa, I know you had a really good relationship with your dad, and he was in your life, and a lot of us have not, and a lot of times, like, that's your first protector, right? So you out here in this world, no one's really protecting you. You don't have a big brother. You have to be like that to make it. You got white men making more money than you, white women, Asian men, Asian women, and then it's like you wonder why we like this. It's.
Did she say black men in that category? Let me go back a little bit.
Here in this world, no one's really protecting you. You don't have a big brother. You have to be like that to make it. You got white men making more money than you, white women, Asian men, Asian women, and then it's like you wonder why we like.
So no disrespect, but I understand where she's coming from because that is true. But if you can feel like that, you're not even thinking about how the fuck a black man feels. See, this is a very good conversation, and it's not taken away from the women, but in society, women are higher up, so the opportunities are better. They do work harder and go harder and strive, and they the shit. But at the same time, a woman feel like she's below the white man, the white woman, the Chinese man. But guess what? The black man ain't nowhere near none of that shit. And you can't understand why you feel like he failing you. Because he can't reach the same hurdles that you can all the way if he made a mistake in life.
This it's a tool of survival. It's a survival tool, right?
And you know,
And I'm talking about the men that's trying to do something. I ain't talking about the pieces of shit.
what too, Claudia?
First of all, they took us. I was gonna say they took our dance from when they took us from Africa.
I was just about to say that.
Because we celebrate life by dancing, and the movement is just movement of a feel good. They've taken that and made it something totally different and not artistic, because even in Jamaica, Jamaica know how to wind that thing, man.
Yes.
And it makes you go, whoa, how can I learn that? How can I be down? But now it got exploited in a way in which now we're like Bernie Mac said in Players Club, now the white woman has said the best thing that anybody heard, pay me. You know what I mean? And so it became more of a pay me type of a ritual of let me do this for everybody as a show. Now it's a showpiece. It's dancing is for show. Yeah, and it's not for the art.
My opinion on dancing, because I do love the fact that she went back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? She definitely in tune in her right sense. It's like, okay, we also got to realize that these dancers were sexual already, right? So let's not act like the Jamaicans is not a sexual culture. Let's like the Hispanics. It's a sexual culture. Like in a lot of cultures that still got some of their ancient pieces to it, sex wasn't always looked upon as this. But we got to realize that sex has always been kind of looked upon and marketed this way. This ain't just started in America. Why you think in Africa they had all them penises hanging up? What you want to call them monuments? This shit been going on. So the dancing and the shaking of the body, like I understand that America did exploit it and did put her, and stopped showing her as a queen and started showing her as a prostitute. That's 100%. So their whole point of viewing this, I love their content. You know what I'm saying? But when they say is the black man failing them, as I'm listening to this, it's like, yes, these are pressures, but everybody got these pressures together. You got to find a common denominator.
Sean Robbins says, bring back the adoration of black women.
Yes.
And I've said this a lot of times that I think black men and black people forget. Hello, Mr. Man, Mr. Black Man. We was getting beat and we were slaves equally. Like the master didn't say, oh, she a woman, so I'm not going to beat her. We were beat the same. We were sold the same. We were separated from our kids the same.
That's not true. That's not true. Now, in some sense, I'm not going to say ours was worse, but that's not true. We were sold the same, but I think y'all cost a little more because y'all can make more money. Mostly men was tar, feathered, and beaten and hung. and nuts and shit cut off and penises cut off in front of the plantation. See, when they brought everybody outside, so you gotta understand, just like y'all got y'all problems in history, so do we. We still gotta deal with the genetic code in our body that's saying when they brought us outside, everybody was outside. And if you was one of them strongest niggas, they put you out, they said, come in, nigga, tie one of your legs each horse. You know what I'm saying? Probably had a tar bucket set on fire, dumped it on your head, and expect the horses to rip you from in between your legs half and half. While it's the strike fair in the community. It wasn't the same. Y'all didn't go through that a lot unless y'all was really trying to run away or causing problems and kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? We could have just been strong and rebellious and they was doing that shit to us. But to y'all defense, you know what I'm saying? To y'all defense, y'all was getting raped. But as we learned, they were fucking men. Now, if we do a historical reference, no disrespect, when you do the historical reference to Europe, the women started wearing dresses because the men was wearing them to get their husband attention because the European men was into men. They wasn't even into women. The women wasn't valued. And that's history, right? With our women, damn, I lost my thought a little bit, but with our women, it's a little bit different. Like during slavery, y'all was not beat the same because the Willie Lynch letter even said the same thing. It said like, yo, it said beat her, but do not kill her and don't hurt her because she's the most important piece to the economical structure of slavery because she can make more slaves, right? I was just talking about this the other day, and she can have. And then if she do what you say, and the kids watch her do what you say, the kids gonna do it. Now it is unfair because you got raped, but when I make the Europe statement, getting back on track. A lot of the slave masters, they were homosexuals. So another way that they had a thing called what they call it, a buck backing, when they was having sex with the black men. So they was raping the black men to demasculate them, to make them feel feminine, to take their manhood from them. So we even got that, but the torture, the mental torture, there's no bigger. I'm not saying that y'all's is no bigger, no less, but the same thing. It's like it won't the same when the way they struck their fear. They struck their fear on a lot of boys. And they struck with the women, they looked at y'all. That's where, if you're gonna be proper, say that the white man turned you into a sexual piece of instrument, and then at the end of the day, because we living in the structure of the society that was created by them, we not in control. The black man not in control of the visions around the world. So that's why I'm saying this to y'all. I get their point, but you also got to realize that the black man went through a lot of shit.
So I get sick of men acting like they're the only black men acting like they're the only ones that's going through it and the world is bad to them. Black women are almost like on the bottom of the bottom. As far as how they view us, we also had to suffer the same trauma that black men are dealing with as well, and the fact that we're women too. And I think that black men could do a better job at nurturing us. Because that's where it could start. You know what I'm saying? If they uplifted us more than what they do, then maybe we wouldn't be all up in the TV.
I got a question because I agree with her. I don't disagree with that because black men can nurture. But mostly men need to learn how to nurture, but it's more natural for women to nurture. I definitely agree with what she's saying. Let me go back a little bit.
At nurturing us, because that's where it could start. You know what I'm saying? If they uplifted us more.
But I will ask a woman, at the end of the day, if you learn yourself, why do you need our justification? Just like we ask anybody as a man, why do you need our justification?
More than what they do, then maybe we wouldn't be all up in the TV screen with our asses and shit shaking and shit, because they be right in the screen. Yeah, girl, you doing it. Oh, I like that. They right in there talking about how wonderful it is and how great it is, and hyping up that.
Can anybody on this comment say, but ain't that's your choice though, right? Isn't that your choice? Like, I can't make you sit in front of the TV and watch girl shows and shake your ass. That's your choice. That's your free will, right?
Do y'all think black men are failing? Do you think black men are failing black women when it comes to protecting us?
Yep.
I know it's a very big statement, a big question.
I do. I think there are good black men out there. I think it's, case by case, but as a whole, I absolutely do. And it's not because they choose other races. That's not the reason. I think that we are a mirror of them, of their pain. We are a reflection of their pain. And I think because black men have low self-esteem in a lot of areas, and they feel like they can't satisfy us like we should, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Financially. I wish you would say financially, my nigga, because that's the one word that women don't want to say, financially. Respectfully.
I think they give up on us because we demand their greatness. We demand the best out of them.
Do they ride harder for their friends, for each other, than they do?
Now, can I ask, and I got a lot of sisters, so that's why I can have these conversations. Can I ask you a question as women? And I'm just asking. Not all women deserve to be treated like a queen because they're not operating in a queen capacity. Just like not all men deserve to get a woman to treat him a certain way, right? So it's a lot of shit going on where it's a lot of women that's operating on some real low frequency negativity shit. But then they looking at their man like why aren't you treating me like this? Like it's you ain't just a reflection of us. We came out of you. We are we supposed to be working together. This has to see the problem is just like with black men. Yo, it sounds like don't nobody in our community want to take no fucking responsibility and own up to their shit, men or women. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, in order to have this conversation right, 9 times out of 10, you're going to need somebody in the middle. And ain't nobody going to like it, but it got to be somebody 9 times out of 10 that's not in our culture so don't nobody catch no feelings about it. But when women say that we go harder for our boys, that is true. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, y'all go hard for y'all girls too. You feel me? Y'all can have a good nigga, y'all homegirls tell you leave him. And then you know your homegirl single and you listening to them. They don't know shit. If all your homegirls single, you got a man, how you asking them for information? And are you worth all of that? Outside of getting a man, what do you got to offer, right? You know what I'm saying? Because in society today, it's like the black woman like the white man in some sense. It's like opportunity everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Opportunity everywhere. So when it comes down to this financial thing, like bro said, they don't see the black woman as a threat. That's true. And she do her thing and she get by. But they looking at your bodies too. A lot of us ain't sitting high enough in the corporate seats to make the sexual passes to get you in a high position. You know what I'm saying? It probably be the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get it. I'm just asking myself during this whole thing, I wish I would hear more accountability.
I don't know.
That's a good statement.
Vivica, I want to bring you
that
back.
is.
We had a
Well,
reaction.
I mean, I wish that sometimes with men that they work as hard having good relationships with women as they do with their boys.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to be clear to anyone that's watching this. This is not a male bashing segment.
No.
It's not. We
Just keeping it real.
Not at all.
We all love men, okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have to have these conversations to start coming together because we're not together right now.
But ain't no men there, right? It ain't no men there. So there's not even a perspective. It's more of it's like, well, I also understand that this podcast was probably put together for women, right? See, sometimes you got to remember, this Lifetime shit and all of these channels that just shooting you all this woman, strong woman, independent woman, that shit destroying your family. Just like you saying the black man, but it's that independent mindset. Ain't no family. It can't be independent and have a family structure. You could be all of that in the world at your job, but when you come home, it got to be some structure. You know what I'm saying? In the household. I ain't saying you got to bow to that nigga, but it got to be some structure. And like I was asking, it's not just about why men hang out with their homeboys. Are you chillable? That's a new word. I don't even know that exists. I need to put it on a shirt. Are you chillable? Can we chill around you? And I'm not just talking about the ones that want to come through niggas in the streets. Can I chill around you? And do you got more to talk about than bullshit? Because we can talk, because men got a lot of bullshit with them, but it's a lot of men, like, come on, it's a lot of people in this era, and especially women, acting like they mothers. Our mothers' generations had the men that was like that. A lot of women got decent or okay men, and they still beating them down. Like, y'all say all day, I recognize that the black man is here, but do you really? Because if you really understood where he was at, then maybe you will understand, too, why some of the things are happening. Because it's just like we got to understand y'all, we both got to be understood in order to get to where we're going.
All right. We're like on 2 different pages.
That's the truth. And it's just the truth.
We're like riding for each other and like really protecting each other. Like when you see a little girl that's being turned out, don't call her a hoe. Figure out what's going on with her. What happened to this little girl? That could be your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like we got to be more like that and not like laughing at it. And we need more of a community feel with us.
The very fact that African American. Oh, go on here, Lisa.
Well, you were talking before me, so go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quickly, the very concept of trafficking and the fact that black men traffic black women, bad to them. That's a fool to me already.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback off of that because I was going to say really what it is that our men are not being held accountable for what it says back in the Bible days.
Now we're going to talk accountability. Ain't not one part of this whole conversation has any woman said anything about the things that she feel like that maybe that she, like if you say I don't like when men do this, and then, but there's no part of this conversation where they're even talking about anything of guilt that they do. That's the thing about these conversations. See, from a woman perspective, this is great TV, but this is some selfish shit on the low. Because you say this ain't men bash, ain't no men up here, and I don't hear no wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Is that when a man finds a wife, he is to find a good thing.
Yes.
And so he is the leader, he is the king, he is the provider. But if you come to us and you're not that, then you're forcing us to take on what you were supposed to take on in the beginning. Therefore, there's a wedge automatically in the relationship.
Yep.
So he's trying to play catch up.
Let's go back.
And
Yes.
so he is the leader, he is the king, he is the provider. But if you come to us and you're not that, then you're forcing us to take on what you were supposed to take.
But you are, but at the same, okay, I agree. But at the same time, a man will argue this point too. He would say, okay, but if you believe that the woman is all and the woman came first, which you did, which y'all should know y'all history. You know what I'm saying? You are the alpha. You know what I'm saying? And the man is really the omega. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the same argument can be said back and forth, but this ain't gonna fix this problem. Let me go back a little bit.
And
Yes.
so he is the leader, he is the king, he is the provider.
He is, right? But behind every great man is a great woman. So it's he has to be this, he has to be that, he has to be this, he has to be that, he has to be a king in order to get your attention. What about you? This is what I mean by accountability. What does a woman have to be? Is there any structure or is there any classes being taught about what a woman is supposed to be? Because they just said that their mothers told them to be hard, don't show your emotion, don't do this, which is all negative shit that's gonna irritate a man. She's not teaching you how to work with a man. She teach you how to hold your pride in and not let him break you, right? So if you go back to there, how can that man? A man got to be a king, but a woman don't got to be a queen. It's like a man, it's okay if a man got everything in the world and that woman got nothing, he come scoop her out of poverty and bring her up to the top. They say, oh, that's a good man. But if it's vice versa, if a woman up here and she go get a nigga to the public, I don't care what women say. Women say that they respect her, but a woman that do that's up here, that bring a man from down here, a lot of women say she a dumbass bitch or she's stupid. Excuse my language, but this is the proper speak, and I'm real enough to have this conversation. I ain't really scared of this conversation. But if you can say that we king, it's all about, but what about you is my question to society as us. Just like, yes, I'm not defending the black man saying that the black men are guilty, yes, but I'm asking in order to resolve this problem, you know, in order for, if a man and a woman arguing, you like my father said, they always tell a man he got to be right. Like, what's the statement? What's the famous statement? If be a man, tell the truth. It ain't no be a woman, tell the truth. That's what my father used to tell me. So he used to always say, women not really accountable telling the truth. You got to be the honorable one to get where you want. If in order to be accepted, you got to be the exceptional nigga to get out of the mud. You know what I'm saying? Niggas come from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? If you had it first and you talked to us and let us know that you had it and we ain't shit, don't get mad if we get big. Just vice versa. It go both ways. That's all I'm saying. But it's a two-way street.
But if you come to us and you're not that, then you're forcing us to take on what you were supposed to take on in the beginning. Therefore, there's a wedge automatically in the relationship.
Yep.
So
Whose ideology is that? Is that ours from before slavery, or is that the ideology we understand in the society we live in, that the man got to do everything?
he's trying to play catch up. And so what we do, because our men are catching up, we actually allow him to bring other things and fold other things into the relationship to accommodate him, to help offset some of the things. Meaning,
That's true as much. I ain't arguing that. I ain't arguing that. But you just said that you allow it. So you saying that the man is the king. He's the provider. But you just said that you recognize that you had to give permission.
to me, I've always said, if I'm not enough for you, in the bedroom in a relationship, then you need to go ahead and do that then. Because we're not going to double dip. We're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm enough. I am enough. But if you're bored with something, well, then let's talk about why you're bored. Because give me the option to be able to make that up, to learn some new tricks, to do some other things, so you're not bored. But let's find that in each other. Because I feel like if you start doing it in your relationship and bringing in other people, then that means you're bringing in more havoc to be able to have to
I like how she broke that down. That was real slick. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with Lisa Ray. The key is, I won't say man or woman, but the question is, in this situation, if it was that easy to go to your partner and say that, y'all would. So there's a communication problem. So clearly that person can't come and say these things because it can't be communicated. You feel me?
iron out. And that's when it becomes too much.
When I hear brothers say they got with a white woman because they'll do anything. They're freaky. I'm like, if that black woman feels comfortable with you as her leader, her king, the man that she feels comfortable with, you can get all of that.
Yes.
And I think that's such a cop out. Now we got a viewer a question.
I heard a lot of women around. I know a lot of women, and they say that too. But can we be honest here? I don't know. I don't know about the statement because I ain't never really messed with any white women. But I will say this. How should I say? I say the best way to say it is that, damn. Let me bring it back so I can remember the thought, because it's something she said. If that black
woman feels comfortable with you as her leader, her king, the man that she feels comfortable with.
Okay, I remember. Now what it was I'm saying that part of the reason is that one thing that black men know is that black women got a lot of secrets, especially when it comes down to sexuality and who they had sex with and what they did. That is a big thing too. So when it comes down to it, it's like that's another inner secret.
You can get all of that.
Yes.
And I think that's such a cop out. Now we got a viewer a question from Lavania 1971. He says, okay, so can y'all take direction from a black man from a place of love without getting defensive? Ladies, we do this. We get defensive.
Listen. I want to start answering that first. This is my thing though. It comes from who's giving directions. Mm-hmm. If you're someone that I respect, and if I was in a relationship with you as my man, absolutely, I'm going to give you respect. I want you to be the man of the house. However,
the key word, I'm going to give it to you.
If you are not behaving as the man of the house, and I, as the woman, am carrying the majority of the load, the respect goes where? Out the window. So that's what's happened to me with relationships nowadays is that.
But I don't think, let me say this, because I don't disagree with Vivica and her logic or to argue with a woman on that. I will say that outside of our race, not all races look at things that way. I could tell you stories about a lot of successful people, Steve Jobs and all these famous people today. And some of these people are black, but most of these people are from other nationalities is the proper word, but we use races so people understand. A lot of these people are from other races, and these people like Steve Jobs and their wives work. But see, if the black man is lazy and sitting at home and doing nothing or not trying to do nothing, then I understand. But see, to a black woman, it has to be, it's like that man can actually have something, but it got to be something to her too. It's being honest. You know what I'm saying? It go both ways. So but it's okay for a man to be the provider and for the woman to be in that shoe, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing because that's what that man supposed to do. Says who? Man? Because that wasn't an ideology before this shit started. Before slavery, prove to me that was the ideology. And see, that's why, in my opinion, if women would hear me out respectfully, you would realize that I'm saying that a lot of the ideology that was given to y'all when y'all was younger and that was given to y'all to protect y'all also is the same thing that's self-destructive. Men, they see what their fathers do, and they not accountable as well, but it's not just the black man. There's two things going on. We've always been in existence with each other, like in the aspect of things are changing, things are happening.
That, having a good partner takes work from both sides. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can't just dominate me if you're living off of me and I'm taking care of you, but then you want to dominate me and tell me what to do. That's not going to work.
A penis does not make you a man alone. It can't.
That part. Can I tell you, I interviewed DeAndre Whitfield, his new book, Male versus man.
Yep.
Book that I
My
recommend
brother.
for a lot of young
He's real smart.
and men in general.
So I asked a woman a question where I respect your statement. And so I would ask women a question, when you say that, like, okay, a penis doesn't make you a man, okay? So if in the situation that man is dominating you just because he's fucking you or just because he's having sex with you, politically correct, then I get your point. If that man is doing so much more, because okay, so then let's flip this role to make this make sense. Let's put the women where the men are and the men where the women are. Let's change who's sitting in what seats, because that's what this is about. These seats hold the power, right? Depending on who's getting what in the society. If you say the same thing about a man and his wife was there and all she did was have sex with him and she took care of the kids and shit, does a man have the right to tell a woman that you don't have a right to dominate me? Because in a lot of times, it don't matter. The woman is going to be more mentally in control of the relationship because she was taught that it's her way. Because why? Because men aren't capable of thinking. But not all men are like that. The true question is, a lot of y'all problems, what type of men is y'all fucking with? You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes y'all be out y'all leads. Sometimes men be out their leads. You might be a brilliant-minded woman, but you fucking with the worst type nigga. And it's the niggas, you not fucking with the niggas on your mindset because you like them niggas you see on TV and on a video, just like the niggas. They not fucking with the girls who they supposed to be fucking with. They fucking with the girl that they eyes like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that let's look at it from a fair perspective. If a man was saying this, it would be like to society, like, what you complaining about? But when a woman says it, it's kind of like, yo, but it's so much more to a relationship that a man has to do other than provide dick and penis or whatever you want to call it. A man has to, if you go outside and you run your mouth too much and some niggas outside got guns, we got to go outside and risk our life. That's more than our penis, right? At the end of the day, if you got children or if you don't know something at the end of the day and I give you an opinion but you don't really want to hear for it and you get emotional about it, it causes problems. Sometimes you don't care to even hear it back. You know what I'm saying? Just like sometimes some men don't even care to hear it back. So I'm only saying that if we be fair about this whole conversation, are black men failing black women? Yes. Are black women failing black men? Yes, it's a better conversation because a man, like they read one man's comment from the little 12-minute segment I had, but they responded to it, which is respectful, but he couldn't interact. You know what I'm saying? He really couldn't dispute it. It's a comment. Now, I'm not knocking what women feel or what women about. I respect it. But if you listen to this as like, if you want from my culture, listening to this, you telling the whole world that we ain't nothing. And a lot of the times, what about you chose this man? And if you listen, a man, like, you know, my mother used to tell my sisters, a man ain't gonna do nothing more than what you allow him to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's real talk. Like, if you allow, what tone did you set? When he first came around, did you let him do all of this crazy stuff? Did you have boundaries? Or did you been with him for 5 years and now you feel like you grown up and you don't want to do this? So now you change, but you forcing him to change something, you know, or vice versa. If you want to change your life, but that ain't who she was when she fell in love, it's equal. But it's unfair in this conversation that if a man says this, it's like he wrong, is all I'm saying.
To read this book. When I interviewed Dondre, I'm going to tell you something. I was enlightened because he said sometimes it's not always the man's fault the way the relationships go. It's because women have lowered their expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But in every situation, the woman is in control. Because look, they don't, like, in every statement, when you talk about the man doesn't matter. Because, like, listen, the man, she says a man, but it ends with a woman because a woman says so.
Because he says sometimes it's not always the man's fault the way the relationships go. It's because women have lowered their expectations.
So sometimes it's not the man's fault in the relationship because it's the woman who's doing it. But so this whole conversation comes down to accountability, right? If to fix a situation, it's like, yo, this shit fair at this point. Shit fucked up. Morals out the window, people not really getting along, ain't no communication, nobody want to talk. You know what I'm saying? You can't say a man dominating you, but you sitting there and you want to be, you just gonna sit there and be stubborn and you gonna be disrespectful. Like my mom said to me on the phone, sometimes, yes, women do say shit and do shit and be the aggressors and do all this other shit. And then when a man grab them, shake them, hit them, then it's like the only person that pays for it on average is that man. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's a lie, that man gotta wear it. So I think it's a dope conversation, but this is why. How can we get to a solution when it's like, ain't nowhere in here did you talk about where does the black man, show me where he's shining and just show me the black man shining all over the country and he got it to be walking around flexing on his women. You know what I'm saying? So I think some people, I ain't being biased, but I think that women love this, but people don't want to have this conversation, man.